Y'all remember a guy named Destroying? He was the kicker for UCF who decided to open a YouTube page or channel, if you will. And of course, NCAA said, you can't make money without us. You got to choose between YouTube or kicking the field goal for UCF. And he chose to make his paper for YouTube. You remember when he tried to go to the CFL as a kicker? And after a couple of weeks there, he realized that they were just using him to get clicks. He really had no chance in hell of making the team. No matter how good he was, how deep her kick he been played, he was not making the roster. That, to me, seems exactly like what's going on in Cleveland. Shedeur Sanders is being used to bring clicks. But this is not something we should have really worried about. I mean, honestly, people, let's be honest about it. There is no chance Shedeur would get a fair shot in Cleveland. Cleveland Browns have historically been horrible at quarterbacks. The last quarterback they had that was even decent was Vinny Testaverde. Let that name sink in for you for a second. If you look back since 1999, most of y'all probably been born. You have Ty Detmer, Tim Couch, Doug Peterson, Spurgeon Wynn, Kelly Holcomb, Jeff Garcia, Luke McCown, Trent Dilfer, Charlie Fry, Derek Anderson, Brady Quinn, Ken Dorsey, Bruce Gutowski, Colt McCoy, Seneca Wallace, Brandon Whedon, Dad Lewis, Jason Campbell, Brian Hoyer, Johnny Manziel, Connor Shaw, Austin Davis, Cody Kessler, RG3, Deshaun Kaiser, Kevin Hogan. Baker Mayfield was probably the most accomplished quarterback they had. Case Keenum, Nick Mullins, Jacoby Brissett, Deshaun Watson, Joe Flacco, Dorian Thompson Robinson, PJ Walker, Jeff Driscoll, Jameis Winston, and Billy Zappe. Those are the quarterbacks who started since 1999 for your Cleveland Browns. So what in that history lets you understand they have any idea what the hell they're doing at quarterback? Now I don't want to hear about, well, those are all old quarterbacks. Okay. Since Joe Flacco came in 2023, you've had a total of Sean Watson, Joe Flacco, Dorian Thompson Robinson, PJ Walker, Jeff Driscoll, and Billy Zappe. Yeah, 6 quarterbacks in the last 2 years. Start games for Cleveland Browns. We know Shedeur Sanders is not going to get a fair shot. There's a reason why they picked Justin Gabriel after him. But I will let you understand what I'm talking about. Every single ESPN show starts with Cleveland Browns. Shedeur Sanders. Why is he not getting any first team reps? My question for Shedeur is, would he be better off somewhere else? We know there's collusion with the NFL. Let's just not say it doesn't happen. No matter what you say, I mean, you read all those wonderfully bad names from the Cleveland Brown history. Not one of them said great quarterback. Colin Kaepernick didn't get a shot over there, but apparently Brandon Whedon, Dad Lewis, and Brian Hoyer did. So we know they don't have a chance in hell, or they don't have a scouting department that's good at picking quarterbacks. Or every single coach they've had since 1999 has been horrible at developing quarterbacks. Take your pick. The rumor about Shedeur Sanders needing to get traded. I'm not saying he wants to, but the need to trade him is really to save him. Now, as a 5th round draft pick, he can get cut tomorrow and the Browns wouldn't even care. Except for the fact that he has the number 1 selling jersey on rookies. Hell, one of the tops among anybody in the NFL. The boy is making paper for the Browns. I'm a Cleveland, Freudian slip there. I am a Kansas City Chiefs fan to the day I die. I turn on ESPN, I don't see anything about Pat Mahomes. I don't see anything about Kelsey. I don't see anything about the Chiefs. Even when they show the Super Bowl results and talk about the boy Jalen Hurts, they don't mention that he beat the Chiefs. But Shedeur Sanders, to his credit, has made it very difficult for them not to talk about him. And also difficult for the Browns to do what they want to do. You come here, bring us clicks on our platform, and then you be quiet. Showing up at neighborhoods, throwing a block party in Cleveland, going to high schools, giving back to the community, making himself more entrenched in the community of Cleveland than any quarterback I've named. Never saw Brady Quinn going to the projects in Cleveland. You never saw Jason Campbell rolling up there at a school. Never saw that. You saw Johnny Manziel hanging out with LeBron, but never doing anything besides partying. What Shedeur Sanders is doing is pure genius. Everybody knows his stats from Colorado and Jackson State. Everybody knows his ability to throw the ball accurately short. I had a problem with him holding on to the ball too long, but honestly, receivers he had speed, didn't really have route running ability that he has now in the NFL. But what Shedeur Sanders is doing is making sure you have nothing to say to cut him besides what's on the field. So as the season starts today, Shedeur Sanders is out as quarterback for Cleveland Browns because he's already behind Kenny Pickett, trash. Joe Flacco, like 89 years old. Then you have Justin Gabriel. And Deshaun Watson is technically still on the roster. So I want you to understand something, people. When it comes time for Shedeur Sanders to get a shot at playing, I don't think we should be holding our breath. Really shouldn't. I mean, if you go back the entire history of the Cleveland Browns, the most games started by any Cleveland Browns quarterback is Brian Sippy, followed by Bernie Kosar. They both had 500% plus wins. 509 for Brian and 510 for Bernie. The best quarterback they've ever had is a young man named Otto Graham. Won 57 games, lost 13. That's how far back you have to go. That's how far back you have to go for a dominant quarterback for the Cleveland Browns. So before anybody starts talking about how bad Shedeur Sanders is, to talk about how horrible of a quarterback choice he was, you have to go back to the 50s to find a quarterback in Cleveland that's worth a damn. Because as an organization, historically, they are the worst at evaluating or the worst at developing quarterbacks. Good luck, Shedeur. Let's hope the New Orleans Saints decide to pick you up. But they should have got you in the first place. Because if not, we know the history of the Cleveland Browns. Coach, I'm out.